Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unpopular Review.
Thank you all for clicking on our faces.
New flag with all that.
Okay, so I wrote down some notes.
Chefs do that. I don't want to sit too hard. That's twice. That'll probably go over about as well as Colonel Dippy.
Because there was no Jay White side.
Just straight up gangbanging. This story has been finished. You gotta pay attention.
So Unpopular Review does not. What is she the CEO of, Chris? Jesus, golly. Let's start the show.
A civilization is under siege. They've searched the universe for a leader. What they got?
Never give up and never surrender.
Were struggling TV actors.
Where's my limo?
Okie dokie.
And they're about to put on a command performance 8 million light years away.
We are actors, not astronauts.
Galaxy Quest.
Greetings, travelers, and welcome to another Unpopular Reviews. It's me, the Next Doctor, and I'm here to review Galaxy Quest, a show about a parody of sci-fi television. Will our intrepid hero save the day? Will the evil villain get their comeuppance? Find out next time. But you'll actually find out right now. Let's start the show. All right. Listen, I am contractually obligated to never do this show alone. So let's bring in the rest of the crew. Starting off first with the executive consultant. Welcome. How we doing this fine evening?
I'm doing dry, and I'll explain why I say that in a few minutes.
All right. Well, maybe our next crew member can bring the moist. It's a lieutenant. Welcome to the bridge, the command center.
Pause. I know you were quoting some of Diddy's lyrics, but pause. Tonight's episode will not be brought to you by Moist or me, but I am here.
All right, gentlemen. Galaxy Quest. This was 1999. Tim Allen, the late Alan Rickman, the wonderful Sigourney Weaver, and one of my breakout stars in this one, Tony Shalhoub. It was a parody for old sci-fi shows, definitely ripping on the Star Trek, the original series, but just having those tropes. But I think it also stands on its own as a great comedy. I think all of the performances were pretty spot on for what they were trying to get accomplished. And, this was definitely my pick. And I would like to hear, I'll definitely say my piece about it, but I'd like to hear your pieces first. So who wants to go at this time?
Stevie, do you mind if I go ahead?
Go ahead.
Okay, I thought you were going to shake your head.
No. Nah.
Whole time I'm watching this movie, I'm asking myself one question: to be or not to be? Because I was like, how is this a spoof? Now Rashad is trying to sell. He's been trying to sell this movie to me as a spoof since before we started our show tonight. And I will give him this. It is a loose spoof if we're talking about spoofing TOS or the fandom, loosely sci-fi. There's another name for that. I'll give that in my final thoughts. Chris, you already know what I'm going to say. But did I like this movie? Yes, I have liked it. I've seen it before. It's a great send-up, as the Brits might say, to TOS, the original series, those old scientists. If you've caught up on your Star Trek. And there are many things I like about it. And let me just give a quick shout out. Rashad shouted out Tony Shalhoub. I'm going to shout out another actor who I don't think gets enough credit. But shout out to Justin Long, who I've never known to give a bad performance. He plays a young fan in this movie, and he's fantastic because his actions, even though they're hyper realized, they're so realistic and so true to the genre. Especially if you go to conventions, especially if you know those fans, because some like take it to the extreme. And for him to be able to also live out his dream, much like I forget the actor's name now, but who joins the crew on their adventure, who was the resident red shirt. It's a dream come true for them. Okay, so I did like that they nailed every single point, and there are a lot of homages in this movie, especially in something so subtle. I used two different ones. I'm gonna hit Darmok, and then I forget the episode title of the original series where Kirk fights the Gorn. Okay, of course that being the rock monster in this case, but Darmok in the same scene or sequence when they teleport, their version of teleport, when they teleport that I'll call it hog-looking creature. It's a great send-up, in my opinion, to Darmok, because the whole time the captain is taken, they think that they mean him harm and everything, and Riker's freaking out. Everybody on the Enterprise is freaking out. But the whole time, the hog monster was just another prisoner of those, children-like creatures. You know what I mean? And they completely de-atomized him, a la Dr. Manhattan style. And so it's a great message for Star Trek fans, because especially those times when different species, different races look completely different from humans or humanoids, they're oftentimes not the bad guy or the villain. And I like that they put that little touch in there when you realize that it's really the rock monster that's the baddie in that scene. So it was just really great to see that, because especially if you're a fan of Star Trek, there are a lot of different homages and callbacks to certain episodes and different tropes in the series, to the next Doctor's point. But executive consultant, go ahead, take it.
Like a little
Did you catch what I said?
like
No.
a little
You still didn't hear what I said?
like a little
I know what you're thinking, right? I know what you're thinking. Like, Chris, you see, how are you going to start off with that? How are you going to start off saying that this movie is reminding you of it? Of what was that? What did I say? Did you hear what I say, Next Doctor? Because you're the one to pick this movie. Did you hear what I said? No?
I heard it.
No? Let me hear it say it again.
like a little
Right? So you're like, EC, what are you talking about? Right? I'm like, okay, let me tell you. All right, because I'm a Star Trek fan. We were just talking about Star Wars, Let's take the veil down. We're just talking about Star Wars. And I'm a fan of Star Trek. And then these people want to spoof my show Star Trek. Right? Whether Lieutenant says it or not, they were trying to spoof my show Star Trek.
like a little
I'm upset. And who am I most upset? I'm upset at this person. Along with these other people, these other clowns. All of them. All of them are this character right here. Every last one of them.
like a little
Every last one of them. I've never seen such a sorry group of people since the last Fast and the Furious movie. What made you think this would be a good idea to do? For me to see these people and they're back. I didn't like Space Journey. That was a horrible spoof. I didn't like Lost in the Space, aka Star Trek Voyager. That was a horrible spoof. I want to know, what were you thinking, Next Doctor, having me watching this feeling like
Like a little bitch.
I ask you a question.
Listen, this movie stands on its own as a great comedy and also giving homage while it's spoofing. You know, you can look at this movie. Listen, you can look at this movie as a spoof, and you can look at it stands on its own with all the performances that are just, I mean, it's packed. Even them, technology advanced, but they can't get the job done, so they go to the commander. I mean, it's a classic spoof. It's a classic trope. What more do you want?
I would like not to be offended when watching the movie. And I was offended by their intelligence and the way they spoke. I was offended by a whole bunch of nerds. I was offended by Tim Allen's character, who's all gun-ho at the beginning. In fact, let's just do this. Okay. Tim Allen's character is all gun-ho at the beginning. Oh, yeah. Never even there, surrender. Then he goes to the bathroom because some little nerds that have still virgins staying in their mama's basement say, "Oh, can you believe this guy? I came up to this convention to meet him, but I can't believe he thinks he's stupid." Stupid. Right? It's stupid that Sigourney Weaver apparently had so much silicone in her breast that it was affecting her memory because she couldn't remember shit that happened in the episodes that she was in. Right? That's another one. Right? The only person that aged was the black kid, which automatically knew the movie was false as soon as I saw that. Right? Only one that aged was the black kid. Right? You could tell the doctor was on drugs. He was so unhappy.
Yeah,
right?
what's going on?
And then apparently the engineer is suicidal. I don't know what kind of characters you gotta be watching, but this is what's happening, right? Okay, cool. Then these clowns, right, who talk, you know, and I'm feeling like I'm watching Mars Attacks. But these clowns, they're talking and they're just annoying me. It's like clicking sounds in my head, and I'm like, wow, 1 hour 41 minutes. Okay, can't believe you did this to me. Have me feeling
Like a little bitch.
I'm upset. Right? This character. You want to talk about this character? Let's talk about this character, right? The movie's villain. What did you think about the movie's villain?
He served his purpose. He was aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
He gave them a reason to rally.
Mm-hmm.
And ultimately, he died to the hero.
Mm-hmm.
Classic trope.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I can't argue with you. This is 100% right. He was there to play a role of complete annoyance along with the rest of the movie. And did a fantastic job doing it. I will give you that. Find out what else I have to say on my final thoughts.
Well, listen, again, this was my pick. I had seen this movie before. I loved it the first time I saw it. What's that?
I was so happy somebody got killed.
I loved it the first time I saw it. You know, I was excited to watch it again. And, you know, just to get, you know, kind of that updated feel to see, okay, does it still hold up? Does it still capture my attention? Do I still feel that nostalgia that it brings for, you know, the original series? Now, I never really watched the original series. I watched the original series movies, but I never actually watched the original series. But I, of course, knew of it. But, you know, it definitely still captured me when I watched this movie. You know, I could see all of the tropes. I could see all of the humor, but I could also see it standing on its own as its own story. And it was just a feel-good movie. Yeah, there was definitely, you know, a few potholes, you know, this advanced civilization, seeing these historical records, you know, why wouldn't they come to the planet looking for the ship? Why did they need to build a ship if, you know, they saw that the ship was already there? There was no indication from the series that the ship got destroyed. So, you know, why would they need to do that? Why would they expect that they didn't have all of these, you know, facilities and technology when they got to the planet? it should have clued them off. But hey, as Tim Allen's character said when he was being, bombarded by the questions from the super geek, it's just a movie. It's just a show. You let it roll. You just enjoy it. And I enjoyed it. What? Anyway, let's pay some bills, and we'll be back right after you find out what's coming up next on UPRE.
The son of Sam Killer, who has been targeting young women, has caused panic-stricken brunettes to dye their hair blonde.
I feel like I'm cheating on you with you.
Anyone is a target.
I think he's after me. I'm going to be number 8.
I'd lay 5 to 1 to kill us from right here.
Uh-oh.
And everyone is a suspect.
This is the frightening and shocking tale of Count Dracula. Leslie Nielsen, Peter McNichol, Steven Weber, Amy Yazbek, Lizette Anthony, Harvey Korman, and Mel Brooks.
If she dies, a victim of this unspeakable creature, she will become one herself. What? She will become one herself.
Dracula, dead and loving it.
Looking forward to seeing that one that I saw originally. So can't wait to watch and review that. Dracula, dead and loving it. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, though, we are reviewing Galaxy Quest. My personal pick. Definitely one I enjoyed the first time. Looking forward to hearing final thoughts from both of my co-stars here. Who wants to go first?
Now, Chris, I know he's amped up on all his hate and rage while he fuels on the dark side. Let me jump in here. I gave a shout out earlier to Justin Long. Let me also give a shout out to Lieutenant Daniels, who plays one of the creatures that Chris loves to hate in this movie. In the short scene, I don't think I saw him again, but I never noticed that he was also in this one. Lieutenant Daniels, for those of you who don't know, later shows up in Star Trek Enterprise, as an agent of the Temple Agency, I guess, of the 31st century. And that is all I'll say. I won't spoil anything for whether or not we see him again later on in Star Trek War, but shout out to him. Listen, when I watched this, I did watch it and I think, okay, how is this a spoof? Again, I think it's Cursed the Edge, but I think it does it well, and I think it does it with love. It's a send-up, so it is going to make fun of it, to Chris's point, but it does so with love and attention to detail, and that's what I did like. Alan Rickman, again, he's nailing it every scene he's in. I really, really enjoy it. when they're signing autographs and the people like trying to say by Krathos, Beardo, he just snatches the photograph and he's like, don't say it, you know what I mean? And then when that alien sacrifices himself and he needs to hear it, he breaks character, for this Shakespearean trained actor. He breaks character and he says it for him and he becomes the character, arguably for the first time, or first time in a long time. I really did enjoy that. They do have touching moments in this movie, and it is a comedy in its own right. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a thumbs up. Rashad, you skated by on this one. I'll allow it.
All right, a thumbs up from the lieutenant, the executive consultant. What do you have to say?
One character does not make a movie, but I am a big fan of Tim Allen. I am a big fan of Sigourney Weaver, and their characters did not annoy me. The characters that annoy me really were the aliens, but they annoyed me a lot. I don't know, Gladiator. You tell me. The question is always, did I enjoy the movie? Granted, there were a lot about this movie I did not like. But overall, I halfway enjoyed the movie. If we actually did, I know this has been said a few times, thumbs to the side, this will qualify for a thumbs to the side. But we don't do thumbs to the side. And it doesn't qualify for a thumbs down. Therefore, by the skin of his teeth, it got a thumbs up.
All right. 2 thumbs up. Well, for me, also want to give a shout out to I believe his name is Rainn Wilson from The Office,
Yep.
Dwight Schrute. He was one of those annoying aliens as well in the limo ride. Didn't realize that the first time that I watched this. I don't think he was in The Office at that point, maybe. But seeing it again, recognizing him, I was like, oh, that's a cool addition there. You know, this movie, again, it stands up on its own. You know, I could see, you know, maybe they do have it, you know, because the kid was making the model set of it. Maybe they even have model sets of the ship from this one. And, you know, it was really good. You know, even though, again, I do believe it was a spoof, it still stood up on its own as a complete story in its own right, a nice comedy, you know, a great beginning, middle, and finisher. It was totally enjoyable. The second go around, well, actually, it's not really the second, it's probably like the fourth go around that I watched this movie. So definitely a thumbs up from me as well. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. 3 thumbs up, even reluctantly, still got them for Galaxy Quest. And with that, we'll go ahead and end it. We appreciate you watching. Make sure you stay tuned for the rest of our shows. And of course, look for us next week for Dracula Dead and Loving It, where that also have 3 thumbs up. We'll see. For the executive consultant, for the lieutenant, I have been and continue to be the next doctor. I'll see you next time.